Christian.
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
How's it going?
I've got a flight to London in,
That's exciting.
in like 3 hours. Yes, heading to Comsverse. Though I will have already been there by the time the world sees this.
You will
but
watch
that's okay.
all the England games.
I got to find a Germany bar in London on Sunday
Right.
against their Schweiz.
They will be really happy with you there with your German jersey.
I didn't pack one.
Yeah.
I've gotten too
That's a
fat.
miss. Maybe you can buy one there for cheap.
I have a Germany jersey, but I've gotten too fat for it, so I don't want to be the fat guy with showing the belly.
Very
and
nice.
Having a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So Christian, you work at Microsoft. What is your job here?
Yes, so I'm a product manager lead. I work on fancy features like voice isolation, speaker attribution in rooms, BYOD, and Teams peripherals with my team.
So let's start with voice isolation. What is that? What does that do? What does that mean?
Yeah, so voice isolation is really for our users and customers that are working from noisier environments, right? So it's either maybe you're in an open office space, you have this noisy coworker who always talks really loud on the phone, and you like to ensure that your remote attendees with you in the meeting cannot hear them and they can really focus on your voice. As well for scenarios at home where maybe your kids run into your wife runs into your room and starts talking. So we really like to ensure that we can filter that out.
So in an area where there are a lot of voices, there's noise canceling, which kind of mutes them, but doesn't necessarily get rid of them.
Correct.
This one, it gets rid of every sound, more or less, is thrown away except for your voice only.
Correct. Basically, in the regular noise suppression model that we are using, we can filter out all the leaf blowers or even a little bit of chattery in the background.
Yep.
But this is really meant if people are more even close to you, and sitting just on the next chair on the next desk next to you to be able to filter them out as well.
I think
focus on your own voice.
I think an awesome use case is post-COVID, but people still work from home. So a husband and wife that are sharing a kitchen table or sharing an office. One desk faces this way, one faces the other, and you're both on meetings.
Exactly.
So in that previous life was kind of a pain. Well, can you take your meeting out, upstairs, take your laptop away with you? Now they can both stay in the same room.
Right.
They may hear each other depending on how good their headsets are.
Yeah.
They may hear each other, but no one else in the world is going to hear. So if I'm on the call, the wife is talking. If she's on the call, she won't hear me.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Does that also work with screaming? So if I'm screaming at you because you won't listen to me and the wife's on a call, it'll block my screaming as well? It's not volume based?
No, it's not volume based.
Okay.
So it will block that out as well. So if my wife yells at me and says, "Hey, what is for lunch?" You would not hear it.
Yeah.
I still need to make the lunch.
And so what's required of voice isolation? Do I need hardware? Do I need a license?
Yeah,
what
so
do I
it's
need?
part of our regular Teams core license. So if you have Teams, you can use it. You need to enroll your voice. So it's pretty simple. It takes about 30 seconds. You read a few short sentences so that Teams can basically learn your voice. And then you're ready to go.
Do I have to turn it on and off, or?
So after you enroll, it will be automatically on. So an admin has to set a few policies to enable the voice enrollment for their users.
And I'll just interrupt real quick. The admin has to do that because there is a bit of a privacy potential that people don't want. They're making a biometric voice print.
Exactly.
So if it's not allowed in your country or your company or whatever, so that's where they have to
really
allow it.
What the companies should check with their legal department, maybe with their workers' council. If you talk about nice countries like Germany, always famous for workers' council requirements there. But it's a good thing, right? Really to check with them, hey, is that okay? Get a sign off with it, and then to turn it on. So it's all controlled by the meeting policy, so you can make it dependent on the regions and make sure to check the requirements. Is this okay in your state? Is that okay with the workers' council and so on?
And so if you go to 3 dots settings recognition, if there's a button to record your voice, go for it.
Correct. And also for the users that like to try it out and they say they cannot enroll, it will say, hey, this feature has not been enabled to your admin, so maybe go to your admin and
open
ask
an
the
IT ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they'll either go, well, you were still evaluating, or we can't. Workers' council said no.
Yep.
What else so this voice profile sounds familiar, like it's used somewhere else. Where else
so the voice
profile used?
The voice profile has been around for quite a while. So with the introduction of intelligent speaker hardware, which Jabra, of course, is a part of it with their P50 device, it has been around for a while. So it's there. And in the room scenarios, it really helps scenarios for transcriptions, which ultimately then powers Copilot and recap scenarios as well.
So what does that all mean? So ultimately, it works better in a conference room, and it makes Copilot better. So what are those details there?
So in a typical scenario, or in the pre-voice enrollment and intelligent speaker world, what really would happen if you and I are sitting in a meeting room, we both talk into the same MTR. And what would happen is everything is captured under the conference room name, right?
Correct. So it's like conference room A, Christian just said, everything is captured by the conference room name.
Correct.
Michael just said, and it's getting really recursive, conference room A, Christian just said, but whatever it be, it just says, it's all attributed to conference room A.
Correct.
Not Christian said this or Michael said this, conference room A said, everything is attributed to the conference room.
And this can lead to really interesting experiences, I guess. You know, if two people are really arguing hard in a conference room, the transcript and ultimately then the recap and Copilot might think the conference room argued with itself, which would be kind of funny, right?
It kind of would be. Yeah. That's like where you take Siri and Google Assistant, you just have them ask each other questions and they respond to each other.
Yeah.
Because kind of that kind of chaos.
Yeah.
So what's the value? So I know that this feature has been out for like a year or two and nobody ever used it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, but why are we talking about it now? And why is Microsoft bringing this now to more hardware?
Exactly. So the interesting portion is while it was around for quite a while, the only benefit was really in transcript and captions, right? And we see also not a lot of people really looking into transcript these days. But now with Copilot and Recap coming out, the transcript is also used to power those experiences. So it gets way more attention and to really ensure that those results, as I said, are proper, right? That it now says, hey, Michael and Christian had a disagreement in this meeting. Christian has a follow-up, etc. It becomes really powerful. Right?
And Michael has a follow-up with HR because he said some things that were not appropriate to Christian.
Exactly. Yeah, Michael should really follow up with HR. It would say in that case instead of the conference room.
The conference room should follow up with HR.
Correct.
But yeah, to those specific points, you can then, when the intelligent meeting recap happens, it can go through the transcript and give notes and tasks.
Correct.
And so unless currently in transcript, I would have to say, Christian, order donuts for Friday morning's meeting.
Yeah.
Now, if I say, hey, so that way it would know, okay, the transcript would know.
But it
now,
would still
if
have issues to assign the task to.
Well, no, it could be if I say, hey, can you bring donuts Friday morning? And you say, yes, I can. It knows your voice said, yes, I can. It knows somebody asked about donuts. It puts those two together and makes a task. Christian will bring donuts on Friday. So you don't have to say names of people because the attribute transcription knows who said what. So if I ask a question and you answer, it knows you answered, not a random attendee in the meeting.
Yeah, and Copilot and Recap would really then figure it out on the flow of the context, right?
Correct.
I actually would need to say, yes, I can do that, because we have a minimum word of three words.
As opposed to, yo, got it. Yes. Well, that's 3 words.
Yeah.
Yo, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it needs to be a little bit longer, and that's just to prevent that we assign things to the wrong person. Because in special short sentences, people say really different, right? If I just say agree, I might say that really different on voice profile level than I would do otherwise. Yep. Exactly.
Which is not my normal voice going, yep.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, and so right today, you have to have certain hardware for this feature, correct?
Yeah, so we started with those intelligent speakers with specific hardware where you have multiple microphones that the OEMs really give us directly so that we are able to figure out the who's who in the meeting room. So we opened it just now recently up. It's in public preview already to support all microphones.
All microphones or all Microsoft Teams Room certified microphones?
So we are not blocking you to use a non-certified. Same as for cameras, we don't block you really for using any camera that you plug in. But when it will come to support and how deep we dig it.
If you call the 800 number, this isn't working, they may say, hey, try a certified microphone,
exactly.
as opposed to just whatever you have laying around.
Correct.
And then, so at that point, this opens it up then to just about every conference room around.
Yeah, that's really the goal, to really ensure that the Copilot and Recap scenarios can use.
Now, is this also going to work in a BYOD scenario? I know Microsoft is slowly embracing BYOD, and you've got a BYOD role we're about to talk about.
Yes.
But how does Intelligent Speaker and BYOD work at all, or does it work at all?
So in BYOD, it's equally important, right? In that scenario, if we use, let's say we use your laptop and we just plug it into a speaker pack or something in a room, what would happen, everything is captured today under Michael, right?
Right, so the transcript still works.
The transcript still works, but now the problem is, even if I say something, it's under your name.
Correct. Right? Michael Tressler said, I'm a wonderful German, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a wonderful German American.
Yeah, see? So there it's also really important. So what we are doing here is to bring the same technology that we have on the MTRs already in preview, we bring also, and the target is in H2 of this year, to bring that also to BYOD. And really then to ensure, even if we both talk into your laptop, it says, hey, Christian said this, Michael said this, and we can also have good follow-up.
Will that again work with any microphone, or does that have to be a certified device?
Yeah.
That will work with any device. Okay. So we've started talking BYOD. You have a role at Microsoft somewhere in the new BYOD love that Microsoft has. So just explain your role and what your role is. How many times can I say role in a sentence?
I don't know. We can try that. How often can we say Copilot in this episode?
Is Copilot involved in the BYOD? Should I ask Copilot about the Copilot, about BYOD and your role with Copilot and BYOD, if Copilot is even involved in BYOD and your role?
I would need to ask Copilot. Okay, so BYOD, very interesting topic. We also like to meet our customers where they are right now, right? For us, BYOD is a reality out there, we know that. But we also like to guide those customers a little bit better and ultimately bring them to an MTR experience, right? So again, scenarios like Copilot, if customers just use BYOD as it was in the last decade, where you just use your laptop, you maybe mirror your laptop, everyone can see everything. So solving this, but at the same time also unblocking Copilot scenarios. So we are making the user experience a little bit better. So we have something that is called shared display mode, which really gives, it's pretty similar what you know from PowerPoint for a long time.
Oh, that's excellent. That's an excellent example.
So,
you obviously do this job because you know that example. I'd never thought of that one. But yes,
okay.
Carry on.
Yeah, because in PowerPoint, same thing, right? I come into a room and maybe it doesn't have an MTR. I plug it in. My screen is duped, and then I hit present, and what really happens is it goes into extend mode. You see the clean output on the TV, but I can still have my speaker notes.
Yeah,
So
your laptop has the preview, the speaker notes. You can do the laser pen and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that was really how we doubt about this whole feature. Talking with the PowerPoint team actually and saying, hey, what is the feedback there?
How do you do this?
How should we build that? And also to basically look at an experience that people are already familiar with, so that it's easy for them to understand.
So
that is on the end.
Yeah, and I think that is a killer feature because not everyone knows that. So when you plug in, the default Windows action is mirror,
right?
And not everybody knows how to change it to the extended display in Windows, right? I think it's Windows P or Windows K. I forget which one. One is casting and one is
Windows
P.
It's P. Yeah,
P for projector or whatever.
For display.
Yes, P for display. So you hit Windows P, and then it gives you 4 options, like do nothing, mirror, extend, and something else, maybe it's 3 options. And so that's confusing to end users. Wouldn't it be easy if I just connect the HDMI cable, fire up my Teams meeting, and it just takes the stage where all the good stuff is, and throws it on the other display, and I still have the Teams chat, my email notifications, if somebody sends me a message that maybe shouldn't be seen by anyone, that still stays on my laptop in relative privacy, as opposed to everybody seeing everything happening.
The secondary in extend mode and push that movie.
And so you guys tell Windows automatically go into this mode, so I don't have to know how to do that. And then further, you then tear off the main interesting part of a meeting, that middle stage, and throw it onto that big screen.
And we also turn it back, right? If you're done with your meeting, we switch it also back to whatever you have.
So that is, not to say forget everything else we're going to talk about, but if for no other reason, that is a great use case for BYOD.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got? So what else is there? Is that what you work on? Is that that's all you work on? Is the stage part, or do you work on some more?
So that is what we did for the end user. But then there's also admin portion of this.
There's always an admin portion.
There's always an admin portion because Microsoft loves their admins. So really, we are also now have a technology where if you plug in your Teams client, your laptop into such a BYOD, and by the way, also into desks, we are basically looking.
Wait, you plug it into a desk?
Yeah, so also if there's a hot desking scenario in an open space, and if I plug in my laptop there as well, we are also looking for the data and sending that to the
Okay, so let's step back real quick. So we've got a shared hoteling area in our office, and I take a device, and that's sitting on the desk that's meant to be for shared use, a keyboard, a mouse,
this might not
whatever.
be one that sits in an open space, but
maybe. But anyway, you plug it in. And then, what does the admin see, or what happens after
so basically
the user
we're
plugs
looking for monitors right now, cameras coming soon, and speaker pucks. And when we are plugging them in, we're basically looking for...
It's not hoteling. This is for more conference rooms then.
It can be both. Right?
But in this scenario, with speaker, you mentioned speaker pucks. That's more of a conference room.
That would be more of a conference room.
all right.
I mean, there is scenarios where we see customers have more of a bookable desk scenarios where there's also a little cabin or something. So there might be speaker puck. That makes sense. I don't think admins deploy a bunch of speaker pucks in open areas.
No, that's really well with voice isolation.
But not the speaker puck.
But everybody hears the other
because
side.
It would still annoy the other
Anyway,
people.
so let's just go for basic conference room, BYOD conference room. I walk in with my laptop, set it down, I plug in a speaker puck, I plug in an HDMI screen. Then what does the what's the admin side of this?
Right. So basically, what happens is the Teams client, if you have our Pro Management portal where you also manage all your MTRs already deployed, right? We will basically check if those devices are already known to the Pro Management portal.
How do they get known?
So we're
in the first place.
Yes. So we're looking at the serial numbers. If on the first request, let's say it's the first user that ever plugs in this device, it sends it to PMP. PMP is not aware of this device, so really nothing happens.
But it just adds a database for entry somewhere.
Correct. But we wouldn't even tell or show the admin any of this because that could be just your device at home, which we in this scenario don't care about.
Correct. Right? Could just be an end user device.
Correct.
It's not a shared.
It's not a shared device
right.
at that moment.
Okay.
So we are waiting until that happens from 5 different users, and then we say, hey, this looks like this could be a shared device that an admin should maybe care about, right? So then we will bubble that device up and we show it in the Pro Management portal under Inventory and Devices, and then the admin can say, oh, I know where this device is, and then can associate what we call associate it to conference room account.
So it's like, for whatever, let's just say we're a very small business. Let's start there. We have 2 conference rooms.
Right.
We have a Yalink puck and a Jabra puck.
Yep.
I know the Yalink puck is in conference room A, Jabra's in conference room B.
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
The problem comes in, what if I have 2 Jabra pucks in both rooms? How do I know which one's which?
Correct. So either you look at the label, right?
But the label is always 100% accurate with what you guys see, correct?
It's not.
What?
So all our partner, so we have a bunch of good partners that follow the rules and have the serial number that is on the sticker, that is on the box, is the same that the device tells us via USB as well. But then there's also a bunch of devices already out there where this is not so great. So all partners moving forward will ensure for their new devices that the serial numbers are always everywhere matching, but that's not the case with most likely the devices that you already have.
Christian.
Yes.
When we're deploying BYOD rooms with all these shared puck devices, and the electronic serial number doesn't match the serial number on the sticker, and we've got more than 2 or 3 conference rooms, it's going to be really hard to figure out or to gather, the electronic serial numbers from all the spaces. That's a lot of work. Is there a tool or anything that can simplify all this?
So we had 2 fantastic people that helped us to provide a PowerShell script, and I know you love PowerShell script. Anyways,
I love PowerShell, man.
You know PowerShell?
I love me some PowerShell.
Yeah. So for people that don't love PowerShell so much, they also did a little bit of a UI for it, and you don't need to worry about all the crazy commands in there. But what it really does is, I install that script on my laptop. I go to a conference room and I plug everything in. I say, yes, collect those devices. And then it will ask me, hey, in which conference room are you in? And then I can do that in multiple rooms. I did that myself in our Vancouver office, I think I guess I did it in 20. We did a total of 80 rooms that day because we have a lot of BYOD rooms there. And it took us with a few people maybe 30 minutes to an hour. Right?
So just you in about 30 minutes to an hour, you're able to get all of the electronic serial numbers, because not every device matches. You're able to get what team sees into a file.
Correct.
With the correct conference room in about 30 minutes to an hour, you did 20 rooms. So roughly, I don't know what that math is, 3 minutes per room.
Right.
At the max.
It goes really quick. We did some small adjustments on the script that you can even go faster from room to room and not always need to start the script again. So you can just keep going next room, right? Which makes it really fast. And if that script is done, it gives you an XLS output. In the future, we will move that over to CSV. People prefer.
No, it gives CSV output, but you have to convert to XLS.
Sorry.
Not trying to tell the guy his job,
No.
I have run the script twice.
Yes. No, you're right. Because a PowerShell script cannot automatically generate an XLS file. So that's why it is a CSV. You open it quickly, make maybe a few adjustments, save it at Excel, and then you upload it in the Pro portal, and then all the rooms are assigned as well.
So let me recap, make sure I get this right. I take a, so I've got, let's say 3 conference rooms that have a speaker puck and a display hanging on the wall.
Yep.
I fire up the script,
Yep.
connect my speaker puck in, connect the HDMI cable in,
Yep.
type in the name of the room I'm in,
Correct.
and then I just go to the next room.
Yes.
And then at the end, I have a CSV file,
Yep.
open it up in Excel, make sure it all looks okay,
Yep.
save it as Excel, upload it into the portal, and now all my devices, I don't have to worry about the mismatch of the
Correct.
printed serial number versus what the electronic serial
Yeah,
number
because
is.
the script really takes the same method that we are using from the Teams client, so that it is ensured this matches. You said there, just putting in the conference room name. We also offer that you can directly put in the email address of the conference room, so that makes it super easy to upload. But you and I know, if I'm going into a meeting room, I might not particularly know maybe a little bit crazy
UPN,
email address
right.
and whatever your company might have as a standard for those mail addresses. So after you walk through building, you go into the Excel file and maybe make just then sure from your other database, hey, this is the right UPN.
That the UPN's match. So the UPN is the critical piece.
The UPN is the critical.
Like, where's this UPN come from? Like what
Yes.
that you talked about?
Good question. So in many customers, all the rooms already have a conference room account in Exchange. So it's really about a conference room or resource account in Exchange, right? You create them also for your MTRs, but many customers also just create them for every room, right? So that even those spaces are bookable and so on, and visible.
By having that resource account already, you can schedule the room.
Correct.
Just in Outlook, and you can see when the room's scheduled or whatnot.
Correct.
So you may already have that account. If not,
Yes. You create one.
Yeah, and where do you go to create those?
So you go, either you go just straight to the Office 365 portal. There's a little area, I believe it's just called
Resources, I think.
Resources, and you create quickly a new one, right? And then you can assign those BYOD rooms.
Got it. And then why do I even need to do this match up of what is the resource account in Pro Management Portal with BYOD? Like, does that lead to a bigger story?
Yeah.
Or is that just for the admin to kind of know where their devices are?
So yes, so there's a bunch of benefits here. First of all, then you know really where those devices are, so you can use it as a little inventory management for yourself as well, right? Because you always have also the option to export from PMP all your devices and which rooms are already associated, so that can really help you to maybe have your other assessment tools or storages basically up to speed as well.
Okay.
But then there's also where you as an admin then can start to monitor those rooms, right? And when I say monitor, it's about reporting, how are the rooms doing, how many people are using them, how many, what's the call quality in those rooms as well.
So you can get a lot of usage stats,
Yes.
which are hard to get in BYOD rooms.
It's very
because a lot
hard,
of these
yeah.
devices don't have network ports, don't have Wi-Fi.
Correct.
How are they ever going to report?
Correct.
Have I ever been used, and am I being used often, and error rates and those kind of things?
Yeah, and in many cases, as an admin, you wouldn't really know, right? So in many cases, maybe
You kind of know. It seems like that room's used a lot, but that one's not. But you don't have any metrics to prove that. If you're there,
and
correct.
you go from room to room, and then you see, oh, this room never seems to be used,
Be
right?
busy, right?
And then there might be reasons for it, but as an admin, you have a hard time to figure that out. So what basically happens before this feature world, I call it, you would go into that room and maybe you have a bad call, and your admin most likely wouldn't care. They would say, oh, I'm sure Michael was traveling around again. Maybe he was in a hotel, had a bad network connection, right? Next day, Christian comes to the same room, has also a terrible experience. Again, admin would think, okay, maybe Christian was also in a hotel, or for some reason I really don't care. What we are able to do now is to say, because we have as a kind of an anchor point, we have this device, we can say, hey, both those calls have been from the same device, and we can correlate and can then say, hey, it's actually this room or this particular device. Hey, admin, you should do something. Maybe you need to go and update a newer firmware. Maybe it's not a Teams certified device, and you should replace it with a Teams certified.
Oh, so we can also then log non-Teams devices as well, or at least non-Teams certified devices.
Yes.
So whatever random device that people are using in a conference room, or you bought something years ago, and people complain, and you're like, they're just being sensitive. Right. Now you can actually see metrics of how the, say, non-certified devices are working against the certified devices.
Correct.
And see if there's benefit to upgrading to a certified device.
Correct. And that's really then the first step on our journey when we go further now, how to get to MTR, right? Because it's also really important, we are putting a lot of effort in certifying devices, really making sure they have a great quality. We have great partners for that as well. But really also to guide then the customer, hey, I maybe have some non-certified devices. Now I saw they really not performing well, they have bad quality. But then to guide a customer, go for a certified device. And in best case, go for a certified device that is also certified for Teams rooms. So even if you're not quite ready maybe yet for MTR, buy already a Teams certified device that you can still keep that door open to later go to.
I mean, I'm holding this one up, and but this one is Teams Room certified. It's a speaker puck, works great. You don't have to have Teams Rooms. You can just connect it to your laptop, works great. But if the time comes for a small space, plug this not into a laptop, plug it into a Teams Rooms, and you don't have to buy a new speaker or microphone for that room.
Exactly, right. And then we have a lot of great offers on those more low-cost area of MTR windows that makes it really attractive for you then to go for the next step, right?
So you mentioned this reporting thing. Are there any requirements to get for that reporting? Or
yes, yes. So there's a little license requirement. So you will need to have a Team Shared Devices license, which I think the list price is $8 in the US.
Yeah,
I don't know
not a lot, right?
Yeah, I don't know about the other countries. I don't have them all on top of my mind. The good thing is also you can, if you assign the Teams Shared Devices license to a conference room, you get basically kind of a 2-in-1 package, because you can also use a panel, right? So you assign one time. Yes. So maybe you like to make sure that across your MTR rooms and your BYOD rooms that you have a consistent scheduling experience. So while in the MTR world, in the MTR Pro license world, the panel is also included to be used outside of the meeting room. In the BYOD world, that's the same for the $8 license, so you can have a really nice, consistent experience for the users. And when we walked here earlier, we could easily see then on the panels, which are available for us.
Which are green, which are red.
Correct.
Which are whatever.
So you get kind of a 2-in-1 package.
So it's the same monthly fee, and now you can add those panels on the outside for BYOD spaces, and then those will work when you go to Teams Rooms.
Yeah, and we see a lot of customers that already do that, even, and I call them standalone panels because there's no MTR, but a lot of customers just for consistent deploy that, but there's something in the room that the admin might be interested, right? So basically those customers are already licensed and just able to use that and get the reporting as well.
And so let's recap real quick.
Yeah.
The easiest way to get things into Teams Rooms, Pro Management Portal is just use a laptop, connect 5 people.
Yeah.
Another way to make sure you have a good document of that is to use the BYOD script, and then collect around, walk around, connect everything up, make sure it's all properly sorted. Because otherwise you have a random pile of things in the Pro Management Portal. Now you've got them all sorted out. And then if you want, and you probably do, you can then, for $8 a month, get all the metrics and reporting of your BYOD spaces, which today, as good as these devices are, you have no visibility. Because the other part is, I believe one of the other things is, suddenly this thing hasn't been used for a week. Wait, this device was being used three times a day for the last 7 days. Suddenly it hasn't been used for a week. That may be a tip that this is broken, stolen, lost, got dropped.
Exactly.
The USB cable has been damaged, so maybe replace the cable. So you now have insight into that, because as much as users are awesome, users don't always run to immediately tell IT that a room doesn't work. They'll just go to the room next door.
Exactly, because they just don't have time, right? Most of us are really in back-to-back meetings, and you just storm into a room, and quickly to connect, room doesn't work, okay, you don't have time to tell IT and then find a new room. You just go to the next room, and then you forget about that room.
And in a small business, it's easy because you only have 5 rooms, and you just kind of, because you're going to take a meeting in one of those rooms and go, oh crap, I got to fix this.
You can yell at the IT admin and say, that room didn't work.
But because we're here on the Microsoft campus, when you have 40,000 conference rooms or more around the globe, that doesn't scale.
Exactly. And that even at Microsoft, that from time to time happens, right? That those rooms, those BYD rooms that are not upgraded yet to MTR, they maybe don't work for 2-3 months, and there was no visibility.
Correct, and it can be also it can also be the display doesn't power on. The power came loose. The circuit flipped on that power outlet. No one's noticed, and so you can get some really good insights into BYOD rooms.
So the interesting portion is, and why you still should consider, obviously, to upgrade to MTR, those signals really rely on people coming in, using the room. It's not real time, right? On MTR, everything is real time. If someone unplugs the camera, you can fire an alert. On BYOD, it always will take us a little while until an admin realizes, hey, it looks like something with this room is wrong.
Which is, to be clear, there's no alerting here. Because alerting has to be near real time.
Correct.
It's reporting, and then you can see in the report, hey, this conference room's been used here, and suddenly it's down here.
Exactly.
Over a week or 2 week period.
Yeah. So eventually we will do a little bit around that, but it will never be as an MTR. And I give you another example, right? If there is, it would be also really hard for us because let's say there is a public holiday and maybe there is and a lot of people also take the Friday then off or whatever.
Correct.
And then you would just say,
4-day work week.
Exactly. And there's 4 weeks no usage from the room, and now we would fire alerts for all of that.
Right.
That's really hard. It doesn't make any sense, right? While on an MTR, the device is still sending a heartbeat and
It's still up and running. There's no error.
I'm okay.
It still sees its camera, speaker, microphone. It still sees the network. I'm good. I don't need to send an alert.
Correct. Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell people about your job here at Microsoft or life in general?
No, it's fun. I mean, we both love soccer, both support the same team. That's why we get along.
The United States and Copa America.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I watch all day.
And maybe Germany in the European Championships.
Yeah. But you guys at least got Messi in your state now. So
in his pink shirt.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. So, yeah,
right.
No, it's fun. It's a fun ride.
Dankeschön, Christian.
Dankeschön.
Auf Wiedersehen.
See you.